people. Today my lecture is on public speaking and presentation in your subject business communication. So let's start with it. What is public speaking? Public speaking is the process of communicating information to an audience. It is usually done before a large audience, like in school, the workplace, and even in our personal lives. It is therefore imperative that communication while speaking publicly requires practice. The theory of communication and effective public speaking and its understanding is essential to make an effective speaker. So it's quite simple. What is public speaking? Speaking in front of an audience, speaking in front of a group of people, wherein you are giving them your ideas, you are sending a message to them. In business, what happens? People give presentations before they can get a business from a company, before they can get a tender, rather a tender from a company. They give presentations to let the company or to let the organization know, to let any other party know what they have in mind, what best they can do. So they have to give a presentation. You see, speaking in schools is a kind of public speaking in front of an audience. This is public speaking, and it requires a lot of practice. You know, we can speak, we can communicate in our daily lives. However, while speaking in front of an audience, you cannot. You should be spontaneous, but you really have to practice a lot for it. These are some of the communication models here that we'll learn today. Encoding and translating. The egocentric communication model does not differentiate between self and others. It can be called an inability to understand any other perspective other than their own. While communicating, the sender may believe that they are the center of attraction. This may lead to misinterpretations, as the receivers may receive and interpret the message differently. This is called encoding, and while communication, it determines which sense will be used to transmit the message. This model thus becomes flawed, as it does not consider the receiver while sending the message. So, what is egocentric communication? This kind of communication, in this, the sender of the message thinks that they are the center of attraction. They are speaking, so they are the center of attraction. Obviously, if you are speaking, you are, in a sense, center of attraction, because people are listening to you. However, you should be aware what the receiver has come to hear for. You just cannot say or give a message about any and everything to the receiver. You have to understand what they are looking for, what they have come to hear. So this kind of communication model, this is called the egocentric model, and this is flawed because it does send a message, but it does not send a message what the receiver wants to hear. You can decide. It's the speaker who decides what kind of message they want to send, I would say what kind of senses they would use to transmit the message. What channel would they use to transmit? They can do it through hearing, through their eyes, through speaking. So this is flawed, because you really cannot tell the receiver what you want to tell them. Understanding your audience. It is important to know the audience before delivering a presentation. By analyzing the audience, the speaker may be able to adapt the content and the language usage to the level of the listeners. It is also to be seen how the audience can be analyzed. So, as I said earlier, while telling you about the egocentric communication model, it is important to know your audience. if you have an understanding about them, you just cannot present them anything that you want to tell them. There should be a message. You should understand what message are they looking for, and you should adapt yourself to that. You should know the content, as I said. You should know the receiver, what they want to hear. You are giving a message to them, certainly, but you should know what they want to know from you. You should have the content, and you should also have the language, so that they understand you. Different people may have different personalities. So yes, because they have different personalities, they would interpret you differently. They can be divided into 4 types: emotive people, directive people, reflective people, supportive people. Emotive, as the word suggests, they are emotional, and they are people oriented, so they would not make much in rather not misinterpretation. They really do not pay much attention to what you are saying, and their span of attention, they would pay to a certain extent, but the span of attention is too short. So give them what they need, and that's it. They may get bored after some time, so give them really what they need. Directive people, they are direct. Uh, they may interfere. They are aggressive people. They may they may interfere. I'm sorry, they may interfere you while you're speaking, so you should not take it otherwise. They are aggressive, although, but you should not misinterpret them. These are the kinds of people, this is the personality type. You should not take it otherwise. Reflective, they wouldn't speak much, they wouldn't interfere, they wouldn't get deflected as well, they won't digress from the issue, they don't socialize a lot, but they do reflect on the contents that you have, on the content, on the message that you are sending. They would reflect a lot on what you are telling them. They pay attention to details. Supportive people, they are supportive. They understand that you're giving a presentation, you're sending a message, they would support you. However, if people are supportive, you should not tend to disrespect them. You should not become aggressive towards them. They are supporting you in this, so you should respect them. So it says that analyzing the audience before speaking is desirable. Targeting your audience. Audience profiling, or targeting the correct type of audience, is important. Speakers who know their target audience can be more effective in getting their message across. You can target audience from a variety of information, such as their job titles and age, or by information by colleagues. It is good to research, know their needs, and develop strategy accordingly. You cannot go in front of an audience, or rather you're giving your presentation of any kind of stuff. Maybe you're a marketer, you're giving a presentation in front of school children. You cannot speak as if you're speaking in front of business people. So you have to know what your audience, rather who your audience is, and you have to target them accordingly. It is good to research beforehand. It is good to know them beforehand. Know their needs and develop strategy accordingly. A good presentation should clearly have 3 parts. This is understandable, introduction, body, conclusion. Such as an essay. The breakdown of a presentation should be 10-80-10. The introduction and conclusion having 10% each, and body with 80% of space. Right? Preparing the venue and seating arrangement. Preparing the venue and seating details well in advance gives you an insight about the layout of the room where the presentation is to be held. You can check in advance where your location is and if the audience is clearly visible from your location. You can check if all the systems are in place and working so to avoid any last minute changes or confusion. So what happens, why is it important to check the venue and seating arrangement? It's important to know because you would be as such the center of, this is not egocentric communication model that I'm telling you, but you, the audience focus would be on you. And if you are giving a venue, rather if you are giving a venue in a large room or large big venues, they would already have things in place. But if it is small, it is worthy to check. You should know where you will stand. You should know where the projector would be kept. You should know every small details as well, because this would help you in mentally preparing yourself. As I told you in the earlier sessions, that it is good to move while giving presentations. So the chairs in the room should be kept so that you can move. Not much, you don't have to move much, but if you want to move, there should be it should be easily, there should be space so that you can move properly. You should check the seating arrangement. You should not also, if you want to see, let's see ahead. Final point and getting start. Okay, so this gets you an idea of the seating arrangements and any refreshments to be served. Again, final point, as I was telling you about the venue and the seating arrangement, after this comes the final point. You've checked the seating arrangement, now it's the final point. You're done with it. Now you have to see you just have to start the presentation now. When people arrive, when audience arrives, they take their places, and generally while speaking public, while giving presentation in big menus, they are served refreshments. However, refreshments should not be such that they lose interest in your presentation. They are here, their main focus is to hear your presentation and understand the message that you are giving them. So the refreshments should be such that they should not give them so much comfort that they become lazy and they tend to sleep. It is also considered courteous to welcome the audience. If you can welcome the audience, it is showing respect to them. They are coming to listen to you. They have their needs, but you should show respect to them. Once the audience is prepared, the speaker may start the presentation. However, there may be some nervousness which may be countered by making eye contact with few people and then starting. People, we all have nervousness before speaking in front of public or giving presentations. It is very important to overcome that. There are stories, as in you can count from 1 to 10 and then backwards counting. So it's important to overcome that nervousness. A good presentation would tell stories. You should have cue cards. It's very important when you are giving presentation. You should have in mind, you should know well in advance what kind of presentation style you're going to use. You only want to read from the slides. You have a slide, you have something visual, you want to read from it, or you want to converse, you want conversation with the audience. Usually reading from the visual aids is not considered good. Conversing with the audience is good. You should always focus on the message. A message should go out. You do need to give important facts and information, but there should be a message along with it. And you should have cue cards. cue cards as in something wherein you can write on a card, you can write the main points, which helps your presentation in being spontaneous. You really don't need to look every time on the papers that are there on your podium, on your table. You don't really have to look. You just need to see, okay, this is the next I want to say about, and you start with it. So cue cards are something that help you in integrating your presentation. Again, a good presentation would be telling stories, anecdotes. You can use anecdotes which can integrate with your presentation. You can use an animated voice, such as in along with the topic, your voice also changes, as in your voice pitch becomes high, it becomes low. If you're telling something that needs a high pitch, you should change accordingly. Pay attention to your body language. So your body language, as I lectured in our last class, pay attention to your body language, because 93% of your message, 93% communication is going through your non-verbal gestures. And so also a very important thing, before presenting, before speaking publicly, practice very much, a lot more. You should practice, because practice, as it is said, practice makes a man perfect. So you should practice. You should not think that, oh, I am a good orator, I know how to communicate, I can go and I can speak in front of any number of audience. No, you should practice. You should you should do your homework properly. It's very important. So that's about it. Let me summarize it for you. Whether we talking in a team meeting or presenting in front of an audience, we all have to speak in public from time to time. It's obvious, we know that. It can turn out to be good or bad. Therefore, public speaking causes anxiety and concern. Good public speaking skills are important in all areas of life. It can enhance your reputation as well as boost your self-confidence. It certainly does. You speak in front of 5 people, 6 people, in front of an audience or a group of people, and if you are prepared, if your presentation goes well, just see how it boosts your self-confidence. It is also something that can be learned. Using the communication model 7 C's and 4 S's of communication can help us become a good public speaker. Practice if you are going for a presentation or public speaking, and see how it goes well. Alright people, so these are some of the questions, and do work on it. Thank you for listening. Bye.